What's going on, guys? Here's part two to how I trade SPX options. So, part one was more intro. You guys understand how I view SPX and, things I'm looking to do, different ways to trade it. Today, I kind of want to dive into my setup, how I use unusual flow to help me identify where buyers are going, where the stacks of call puts are. So first things first, every single morning, I get my thesis based off of the chart on SPX bigger time frames, locate my, daily, weekly, monthly levels, will, locate my prior highs, prior lows for intraday levels. Second thing I do, once market opens, after 5 minutes, I just pull up the SPX option chain. And all I'm doing is looking for, I call it the stack. Where is the volume going at open? If SPX opens 40.50, I open up SPX cons. They look like they're tagging the, 4,000s and the 4,100s. So 4,100 call is being stacked up and the 4K put is being stacked up. So what I do, depending on my thesis, is okay, we're at 40.50, they're hitting the 4,100s. I'm going to open up 4,100s. 41.25s, 41.50s, depending on the time of the day, it might be the 41.10s, 41.20s, etc. And where the price is right. I don't like paying, like I said, over $1.50, $2 for contracts. So sometimes we got to go further at the money. You're going to have to check your chart for reference to see if, your target's even possible. So also give a lot of credit to Asspace. He's a trader on Twitter. He really helped me out with this flow. I kind of fine-tuned it a little bit, but not too much. So our first things first is our $25,000 filter, right? These are what I call my bomb orders, my nuke orders. And I guess before we get started, really, these filters, adjust them as you go, figure out what works for you, right? Just because it works for him or her doesn't mean it's going to work for everybody. So 25K filter, right? I want aggressive orders. I want to see people really putting their money where their mouth is, right? So on this filter, if we're trading 40.50, sometimes I'll get a 39.75 order, which I call my nuke order, my directional flow. I don't play the 39.75s. It's far out of the money, but I'll look at the 4K and probably follow with the stack, right? So here for the side, I'm, got all things open, right? I don't like the mid orders. I don't like no side orders, but I do like them on these orders because if I get one and it's big premium, I'm interested in it, right? If it doesn't have a lot of premium, not too interested. Obviously, calls and puts, I don't care. I play intraday SPX. I'll play trend, whatever it is, up, down, left, right. Actually, not left, right, but up and down, right? First thing here, $25,000, as we mentioned. Our expiry dates you have to change every day, right? I'm looking for 1 DTEs, so have whatever day it is. Today's the 13th, we got the 13th. Tomorrow you just got to click Tuesday, right? Boom, boom, boom. And then really all it is out of the money. Like I said, with these orders, I'm looking for deep out of the money calls or puts. They're very aggressive, so they're less size. And I want out of the money again because this is where I'm getting my directional flow. I don't really care for in the money. These are the orders I'm looking at, when market opens up. My next is the 50K filter. Honestly, everything's just about the same as the 25K filter. Out of the money only. Again, bid, ask, mid, I don't care. These orders usually come less aggressive, but a little more size. And again, the expiry you have to change every day. And again, just that out of the money filter, give or take, size out of the money. I like to mess around with the size over OI in the out of the money only on this one. Sometimes I don't get too many orders. Sometimes I do. But I want to see what protective capital's doing, big boys buying in the money. And then essentially I have a 100K filter, which is, 6-figure trades. And this is essentially the same thing, except this one's fair game, right? I want to see basically everything here. The guys with serious cash, obviously we can catch them in the 25.50, But this 100K order, right? These guys are playing with 100 to 500,000 to a million, whatever it is. They're not buying deep out of the money contracts, right? They're buying in the money. They're buying insurance. They're being careful, right? So same thing here. I got my bid, mid, ask, no side. Again, reason you could turn no side, mid off. I like it to see where premiums are going. So if I have a no side or a mid order, of the 4K puts, but I have serious premium, I just like that. Sorry. I just like that open because then I could see where money's going, right? Calls, puts, I don't care. 100K premium. Every day, the same thing, expiry changes. And then nothing's open here. Again, you could change it for whatever you like. This is just what I like, what I tweak. And that's really it. Super, super simple. Again, just fine tuning, really it's the fine tuning of the out of the money, the multi-legs, size over OI and the premium, the expiry, it's one DTE, sometimes end of the day. I like to go next day, so I just change my expiry to 2 days out just so I can see what people want to swing and, whatever. Um, with that being said, that's it for those three SPX filters. The last thing I use is market net flow. How I use this is I'm looking for divergence in price with premiums. So, if market was moving down and all day, I get something like this where call premiums cross over our, overall put premium. Say, okay, we're moving down, but people are buying calls, right? And this is what I call the, market tide divergence here is when price is going down and the opposite. So this would be price going down, call premiums going up. Or if it was market ripping up and we saw these, this red line is the put premium and the green line is obviously call premium, right? So, this would be, clear bearish divergence just out the gates, straight up, straight down. Eventually, call premiums cross over, so which is a bearish signal here. Again, use this all with a grain of salt, but it helps me add to conviction. It helps me, have some confirmation. At least, big boys are ideally doing, what I'm doing or thinking. So another thing too is with flow, right? I use flow to help me see things faster, right? I can't possibly watch all the contracts, but what I can do is use flow to help me identify where money's going so I can quickly pull up the contracts, right? Like I said, if we're trading 40-50 and in our directional flow order, they post a, 39.50, 39.75. That guy is crazy. I'll go a little closer in the money, but I love seeing those orders early. If it's if it's put side, I would love to see the market overview, our call premium slowly grinding all day. And now I kind of want to talk about my setup, right? I have two monitors. I have one 36, I think, and another 36, but one, I have my chart that I'm charting, right? It would just be something like this, right? So one screen is completely full of just my SPX chart, right? Um, and then on my other monitor, I have my contracts, right? I have TOS, whatever your broker is, right? If it's Webull, TOS, IBRK, whatever it may be, right? This is where we're finding our contracts, right? Everyone always asks me, how do I know what contracts are getting tagged with volume, right? I help, I get Unusual Whales help with the orders, but again, I'm following my main stack. I'm going 4 out of the money, whether it's 10, 25 intervals, going 4 out of the money both ways, whatever the bias is. Whales helps me, speed that process up. We're trading 40-50. Maddie has the 40-75s, 4100s, 4125s pulled up on my TOS. So when you're trading your SPX chart, you have your bias. All of a sudden, you notice your 40-75s, your 4100s, your 4125s are starting to get volume on the contract, right? When I'm looking at SPX, it's volume on contracts, and I'm thinking of people physically throwing money at the screen, right? So I like over 1,000 volume, but you have to understand on low volume days, I care about relative volume. If you have relative volume on your contracts trading at 20 contracts, 50 contracts, 30 contracts, that's doing for 30 minutes to an hour. All of a sudden you get, you go from 30 to 300, 500, 200, 400, right? Volume's pouring in, underlying price isn't hitting, and you notice every ticker is getting the volume. That's when our thesis really comes to play. So you have, again, your SPX chart on one monitor. I have my flow on that monitor. And then the other monitor, I have strictly the premiums, right? Whatever my thesis is, 4 up, 4 down. If the stack's 4,100, or the flow is to the 4060s, right? I look 4070s, 4080s, 4090s, 41s, right? So, you know, that's kind of my setup and how I do that. Another thing too is, people always ask, how do I know where to look for contracts, right? There is no magic answer here, right? And I'm a situational trader, and this is a situational thing. Sometimes I get my strikes from the flow. Sometimes I'm getting my strikes from just again following the stacks. So the morning stack that I told you guys I post out. Sometimes it's all about if that morning stack comes in, at the 40, 4100 or 4K. So if I'm bullish, I open the 41, 4 up, 4 down. If I'm bearish, I go to the 4K and just open 4 up, 4 down, right? Sometimes it's as easy as that, following the volume at the opening drive. Sometimes it's as easy as getting, your new directional orders early, some 50K orders to follow through with the thesis, right? The market overview to follow through. And sometimes, right, when I'm playing charts, like today, I knew price ripped up this morning. I saw this rising wedge on descending volume. I was pretty bearish. We were trading 41.40. I knew the bottom of our pattern and 1 hour low was 41.20, and right above that I had 41.25s. I know I was 20, 40 out of the money, but like this situation, I didn't find flow. I didn't have, my directional orders. I didn't have, my main stack. Well, actually, I can't remember what the main stack this was this morning, but whatever it was nothing, right? I was playing the chart, the pattern low, and the 1 hour low there, right? That's how I kind of figured out the 41.20s where I wanted to look. Let me delete this. Here's that 1 hour low and where we were coming into on the breakdown earlier. So an instance like this, you check the 41.20s. Is it possible with the chart? The premiums allow it. Yes, these were trading, 5, 6, 7. They dropped down to 2. I knew we could see 5, 6, 7 again. So these are the ones we wanted to go with. We found the order on whales. We saw the volume come in. This is beautiful. We just missed our fill, which kind of hurt. It is what it is. SPX, there's always another. But that's how I have my setup, guys. Really, volume is everything when you're trading SPX. If you don't know how to open up a contract, premium, I can do a video on that, but that is key. Watching your option contracts, watching the volume on them. Volume comes in, price doesn't move, but it keeps pouring in. Indication price might get ready to move, right? All right, guys, video 3 will be out tomorrow. I hope you enjoyed. Take it easy.